Blog Talk Radio.
Archangels, ghosts, and Bigfoot, oh my. It's just another night for Supernatural Girls. Real stories, real answers to life's biggest supernatural mysteries. And now, for another exciting interview with paranormal experts from this world and others. Here's your host, paranormal researcher Patricia Baker, on the one, the only, Supernatural Girls.
Welcome, everyone, to another exciting episode of Supernatural Girls Radio. I'm your host, Patricia Baker, and I am here with my co-host, Patricia Kirkman. PK, how are you tonight?
I'm settling down. I'm feeling better now. I felt like I was shot out of a cannon a little bit ago, but life does prevail, and it's saving me after all.
Oh, good. Well, these electronics, they can be frustrating sometimes.
God, I tell you. I feel like I should be plugged into something that would make it easier.
Well, we are watching a lot of things, not only in the news, but in the skies. Now, tell us what you're seeing in the numbers.
Well, this month is a month of ending old things. So it's wrapping up what's been transpiring the earlier part of this year. There's a lot of different approaches that are going on because things are changing, and they're changing faster than we can even get a good look at them. But there needs to be some balance, and we're not getting it. The month's working on behalf of others, and it's a time of well-being, but vibrations that are ongoing right now are for us to be more humanitarian, more caring for the other person. And if we don't do this, we're going to start sliding behind again, because we had been talking the last couple of months about secrets being made known, and they have been happening, one right after the other, the last 2 months. This month, we're going to get something that's going to deal with some endings of things. Now, I mentioned to you earlier today about the History Channel is going to have something on UFOs that they're going to do a whole series on it, and they even had it up on our local station here. They were talking about it. So people, whether you like it or not, they're here, they're coming, and we're going to hear about it.
Yay! That's right. It's about time. Well, and, a lot of people are talking about this. It's a fascinating topic.
Well, and people aren't taking shortcuts anymore. They want to know how come, what for, and why are you hiding it?
Yes.
And that has a lot to do with, and just watch I'm so sick of hearing fake news. Any type of news that's out there right now is suspect because we've got a lot of fake people pretending who they're supposed to be, and they're not. And that's what's screwing up the works for us. But there's going to be some major things taking place a lot sooner than we expect, which is good. But we have to be patient to a point, but don't take any shortcut. And don't just be sold a bill of goods because someone in Congress says this or someone else says that. Use your own brain to take a look at what's taking place. If we look at a series of things that we're being told, dear God in heaven, are we that stupid? I think not.
No, I don't think so. And, people who are watching all of these things unfold on the political scene, but for our audience, more on the UFO topic, it's very interesting to watch them take these steps. Step one has been to basically come out and feed the mainstream media news stories that, yes, we now say UFOs are real. Pilots have seen them. Now Navy pilots are reporting they've seen them every day. Okay, so now they're coming out and saying that. That's step one. Step two is saying something about, well, who's piloting these? Then we have to think about step three, which I don't know what that's going to be. But step two is now introducing the idea that they may not be from here. Now, of course, our audience has known this for years. We have the smartest audience in radio, and they figured this out a long time ago. But it is kind of funny and ironic to see the way they're rolling this out. Now, I was talking to a friend of mine today who has been in law enforcement and knows a lot of people in the alphabet agencies. And, I explained to him, I think this is happening, and it seems like it's been speeding up because I'm thinking that another superpower has been saying, we're going to tell the truth about this. We're going to release it. And if they do, before the U.S. does, the U.S. is going to look idiotic. So I think they've been knowing that there are some other countries, other superpowers, whether it's China or Russia, are going to start releasing what they have. Not just saying it's real, but releasing the proof. So the U.S. has to get up to speed because already there's great mistrust in the government and real disgust with the way things have gone on. So now here's another piece of fuel to add to the fire if they don't get this information out first. So it'll be interesting to watch. We always want to hear also from our audience of what do you guys think is going on? Why all of a sudden all of these things being released the way they are? We always want to hear from you. Shoot us an email or message us on Facebook. Let's hear your comments about that.
It's almost as if they're taking a look that everybody's got their hand in the cookie jar, and they're trying to pull their hand out in a hurry to see which one's got the biggest cookie. Well, if they don't get their hand out fast enough, they're going to have cookie all over their face.
That's for sure. That's a good way of putting it. It's going to be an embarrassment, especially for the United States, if they don't come clean on at least some of this, because some other country, I'm sure, will. So anyways, it'll be exciting to watch. We've got our popcorn. We're sitting back. So it's going to be good. And now, also, again, want to urge everybody to make contact with you, PK. Go to your go to Patricia Kirkman's website, patriciakirkman.com. You can also find PK on our website on Supernatural Girls to get your numerology reading, find out what your name means, what your birth date means, and what's coming up for you this tumultuous year. So be sure to contact PK for that. If you want a soul realignment reading, you know where to find me on supernaturalgirls.com. Happy to work with you on that. We've also got some great candles. I call them candles with attitude because they were designed and made by Katrina Rasbold and me, and they are very powerful. Highly recommend them. They are on our website, available for sale. If you have any trouble getting those orders to go through, just send me an email, and I'll make sure you get your candles sent out immediately. So we have a great guest tonight. But before we introduce him, I wanted to just say we have a very interesting, we've always got interesting stories on our Facebook page. Got a lot of UFO stories there from this week alone. So go to our Facebook page, make sure to like and follow us. But there's another story that we posted, and this is about real encounters with invisibly cloaked predator entities. Now, why I found this one so interesting is because it ties in with David Paulides' work on Missing 411. He has a new documentary coming out called The Hunted, and it's about the hunters that have gone missing. And one of the interviews involves this very thing, invisibly cloaked predator entities. Now, everybody describes them the same way, and they all describe the fact that these things are high up in the trees, and they just go from tree to tree. And this is the first time I've seen so many stories of firsthand accounts talking about this. And I'm wondering, PK, is this one of the entities that is grabbing people and running off with them? Because, again, remember, there's all kinds of tales about these people that are picked up, that the dogs can't even find a scent. And where are these predators located? High up in the trees. So there may be something very important about these encounters. So please, everybody, go to our Facebook page and read this article. It is fascinating, and there's multiple encounters here. Brent Swanser from Mysterious Universe did a great job researching and writing this article. I think he's really onto something. So don't be left behind. Be sure to read this one. Look at the photos. They're pretty cool on our Facebook page. So tonight, we are talking about the medicine of the future that is here today. We have a terrific expert with us on scalar light. We have Tom Paladino, and he's been researching this for a very long time, and he's developed a remote treatment process using a scalar instrument that has a positive effect spiritually and physically. And this is a groundbreaking approach to health and healing. It was prophesied a long time ago that our medicine would eventually have to turn in this direction. So tonight, we're going to learn all about this from Tom. So if you have a question, be sure to call in. The phone number is 563-999-3539. Again, that's 563-999-3539. Tom, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you, Patricia. Hi, PK. Great to be here.
Wonderful
So glad
for us
you're
having.
able to join us. Yes, yes. Now, you've got a brand new website that's absolutely beautiful. You're offering free trials to people, and you're so kind the way you offer these, Tom, because you don't even ask for a credit card. It's just, try it out, give us your name, give us a photo. That's all we need. But tell us again how you got into this, and then we'll tell everybody what's available.
Okay. Again, it's a pleasure to be here. How did I stumble upon scalar energy? Well, it started with Nikola Tesla, the great inventor. Nikola Tesla really piqued my curiosity when I was a youngster. And I knew that Tesla, this great man, this great scientist, was working with a different type of energy. He was the latter part of his life working with what is known as radiant energy or scalar energy. And in so doing, I wanted to copy in some way Nikola Tesla. I knew that he was onto something gigantic. What's gigantic about it? Well, it's the life force energy. Scalar energy, chi, prana, some people call it universal consciousness. It really serves as the intelligence of the universe. It's responsible for everything from molecular forms to anti-gravity. So this is really the key element in my research today. I'm working with scalar energy. I'm not working with electromagnetic energy. And it all started when I was young and I read about what Nikola Tesla, the great scientist, had achieved. I knew that I wanted to, in some way, copy his work. I wanted to duplicate his work. Here I am today. I don't even want to compare myself to Tesla. I don't know anybody who can, but I am trying to, in some way, in some feeble capacity, follow in his footsteps.
Well, that's exciting. And I know that, we've known you for a while now. And I have to say that this time when I signed up for the trial, you were very generous to offer that to both PK and I. Thank you.
Yes.
I felt something much more powerful. Are you doing something different this time?
Yes, we are. The instruments are much stronger. We've perfected them. Each model, each generation is a sophistication and a greater understanding of this energy. The instruments are much stronger now, to the point that it's palpable. People that are sensitive like you, Patricia, you can feel it. You realize when you're on these therapy, you feel better. You feel a surge of energy. It is indeed palpable.
It is. I could really sense a huge difference, and that's why I wanted to ask you that question. So that's interesting in and of itself. And again, it's so easy for people to do. They can go to scalarlight.com. That's SCALAR light.com. And all they have to do is give an email address and upload a photo, right? That's it?
Yes, that's it. That's it, exactly. And as Patricia said, we want to reach out to people. We want to be able to work with anybody around the world. We do so by way of a photograph, and we don't ask for credit cards. We want to provide free sessions. It could not be simpler. Again, to reiterate, We work with Scalar Energy. We work remotely. You do not have to come to a clinic. Everything is done by way of an emailed photograph. It could not be simpler.
It's really brilliant the way you have this set up, Tom, and now it's so much more powerful. It's great. Now, people come to experience this energy, and I'm sure they're like, I don't know what to expect, but certainly there's no negative on this. It's all positive or neutral.
Yes.
I mean, that's the way it is.
Yes.
And now, but you also have taken this further. You've taken this to the level of people having laboratory tests done before and after. So could you talk to us about that? Because this is very exciting observational data that you're providing tonight.
You're right. And we have the scientific data to support our claims. I've always claimed that scalar light can break apart, can fragment a microbe, a germ. And now we have a mounting evidence, a body of scientific evidence. People around the world are sending us their test results for herpes, showing that they no longer have a viral load, that the herpes has been eradicated. Test results for Epstein-Barr, showing that there's no DNA present of the Epstein-Barr virus in the body. Test results for HIV virus, showing that people no longer have any genomic copies, no more viral load for HIV. So what does that mean? Well, if you look at it from a scientific point, from a very rigorous scientific point, we can prove now that these scalar light transmissions are able to eradicate, break apart viruses in the body. We have hundreds of diagnostic tests from clinics around the world, not one or two clinics, from a random sampling of clinics around the world, and all of those test results come back negative. So what does that mean? What would you construe from that? Well, we're on to something gigantic. We're on to being able to eradicate microbes, viruses, bacteria, parasites from the body. We have scientific evidence to support that claim from people around the world. I think in the future people will finally realize that scalar light is going to be championed as the cure for microbial disease.
I think you're absolutely right. I mean, look at what we have today. I mean, we have a Band-Aid system of medicine, especially when it comes to chronic illness. And we have a pharmaceutical industry that loves chronically ill people because they know they have long-term customers. So they're more than happy to take people's money and give them something that will temporarily alleviate a symptom or two. Now, everybody knows that comes with another price. And I'm not talking about the cost of the medicine. I'm talking about side effects. And then the side effects, that requires another medication. So it becomes a terrible way to treat illness. But a friend of mine did refer to it as Band-Aid medicine, and she's in the medical field, and she's exactly right. Whereas this is very different because there's no side effects to this, nothing, except better health.
That's correct. That's the beauty of it. What are we getting at? Well, when we're working with energy, in this case scalar energy, it's sun energy or starlight. It's pure source energy. Some people call it life force energy. It's not electricity. Hence, there is no electromagnetic radiation or pollution from this. This is pure divine energy. And this is what I have observed, as well as so many hundreds of scientists around the world have observed in similar fashion, that there is no pollution. There is no footprint here. This has nothing to do with radioactivity. It's a perfect energy. There are no disadvantageous side effects. So this is so promising. So if we use this in the field of medicine, we can promise people that there's not going to be an inherent risk. Why? We're working with light. We're not working with chemicals. The light is pure. There is no degradation in its signal, so to speak. It's pure life force energy without consequence, without negative consequences. You could not ask for more. I don't know any practitioner out there that could tell you that the modality, that the practice that they have was foolproof. that it was safe without inherent risk. What am I saying about scalar energy? There is no inherent risk. There is no inherent danger. It's pure divine energy. So consider that. This is the perfect tool for health with no negative consequences.
Well, you can't ask for anything more, really. I mean, that is the benefit of this treatment that's offered. Now, what about, like, PK, you've had broken ribs, you've been in a lot of discomfort. Does Scalar also have an effect on that, or is it only to treat microbial illness?
I would say that I've seen so many people around the world benefit from these sessions, and it's to underscore, it is perfect health, it's perfect energy. So it's not only used in the capacity to break apart, to eradicate pathogens. I see many people have told us that this energy has accelerated their healing. Let's say they had a wound or they had surgery. It seems that this energy will abet their recovery. Others have said that this energy has reversed their depression. Some people have told me that Scalar has served to deepen their dream state, that they can have a meaningful sleep and that they can even remember their dreams. Other people simply say it served to give them a greater spirit, a greater sense of flair in their life, a greater sense of happiness, euphoria. So we see so many benefits, not only in the physical realm, but in the spiritual realm, as well as their mental state, their emotional state. It is an all-encompassing energy. What do I mean by that? Scalar energy has a direct interplay with body, mind, and spirit. It's the animating force behind body, mind, and spirit. It is the life force energy for body, mind, and spirit. Hence, it's as a first principle, as a first cause, it will be eventually embraced as a tool to heal people, body, mind, and spirit.
Wonderful.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah, because you're talking about also setting up a balance within the body, and the body needs to be in balance in order to heal. Now, I heard a very interesting discussion with Bruce Lipton, one of my favorite people in this field, and he is a biologist, for people who haven't read his material, a brilliant biologist who has deeply understood consciousness and the cell. And one of the things he said recently is that in order for you to stay healthy, there's only one thing you have to do, and that is you have to get out of fight or flight response. You have to go beyond the neutral point, actually, and get back into love and joy. And in the way he was describing it made so much sense, because when we get into all this anxiety and fear and the media fuels it, then
Yes.
we go into fight or flight. So that means all of the blood flow goes to the arms and the legs. So instead of making the new cells that we're supposed to be making, like the gut turns over new cells every 3 days, but instead of being able to do that, we are into fight or flight. Now, he did also share this, that after 9/11, drug profits went up 20% a year. And they have an investment in keeping us in that fight or flight state. They make more money that way. It was fascinating to hear his discussion. Someday I'm sure I'll get him on the show, and he can talk about it much more eloquently and much more scientifically than I can. But this all does play into what you're talking about, is that Scalar does have the potential to eradicate pathogens. It has the potential to balance everything out, because you're talking about body, mind, spirit.
Yes.
Scalar has the effect on all of those. So it's just perfect, because it can help people get out of that fight or flight response so they can make new cells and they can become and stay healthy. It is a brilliant way to handle this type of, especially chronic illness.
Yes. God bless. I agree with that so much. I'll say that many people who've come to us and they procrastinate, or they're anxious, or they're fearful. Again, to reiterate, they're in that state of fight or flight. And that's a downward spiral. We don't want to do that. We want to live in joy. And Scalar has been able to efface that memory. Scalar has been able to correct that energetic hold, that emotional intrigue that so many people have, so that people are no longer living in a fight or flight paradigm. They're living in happiness. They're no longer procrastinating. They're living in a state of joy. They no longer are depressed. They're looking forward to the future. They're not in any way remonstrating about the past. So this energy does seem to turn on a switch in the brain. I will go on record by saying I believe the brain waves are directly influenced by scalar or chi. Sometimes we call it scalar or chi energy. I believe our 7 chakras are composed of scalar energy or chi energy. And eventually we're going to see how Western medicine will have to accept and inculcate these principles. There are 7 chakras in the body, and those 7 chakras are 7 points of consciousness or 7 points of scalar energy. And they're very real, and they have a profound influence upon body, mind, and spirit. And I will say that the scalar energy instruments that I have devised have a direct interface with those 7 chakras. So we now see that energetic medicine is so promising. Again, one of the things we can do with scalar is break apart a virus or a bacterium. But consider the fact that we're having great success now in correcting the balance of the 7 chakras. And many people are returning to a state of happiness. They're no longer depressed. Or some people are able to deal with a past traumatic event, to recognize it for what it is, and to overcome that suffering or to overcome that trauma. I've had some people who are returning from the service. They have post-traumatic stress disorder. And many people have told us that Scalar has helped them overcome the horror of war. And in so doing, they're able to cope with the past, what they've experienced on the battlefield. All of this is very promising. This is this new emerging paradigm of energy healing. Scalar energy is going to be one of the tools that mankind uses in the future to heal body, mind, and spirit.
It's just amazing. Now, you offer the pathogenic cleanse, and let's go back to that, because people that have Lyme disease, it's a real tough thing to treat. And they've even found that antibiotic therapy, they're finding, doesn't work. So it used to be standard of care that if you got bit and you had the Lyme circle around the bite and all of that, that you had to go on doxycycline or something, one of the tetracyclines, for a period of time. But now some research is coming out saying even that is ineffective when it comes to Lyme, because there are so many co-infections that are not treated. So something like Scalar, because everybody knows we had Carrie Cannon on our show last week. Great guest. We thoroughly enjoyed her. We apologize again for the sound difficulties. We all 3 of us got kicked off the board.
Yes.
But you can hear the rest of the interview on our archives, and you can hear her consciousness alignments. But Carrie shared with me after the show that her daughter contracted Lyme disease, and she was very, very ill. And she said that it was the Scalar treatment that got rid of it. She said she's sure of it, that because her daughter was not improving until this treatment began.
Yeah. I'm familiar with Carrie, and she shared that with me many a time. How does this work? Well, if I can send intelligence, scalar intelligence into the body, again, this is energetic healing. We don't use chemicals, potions, reagents. We use energy. And this energy can break down the molecular bond of the Lyme spirochete as well as the co-infections that are transmitted by a tick bite. So imagine, energy instructs the various parasites to break apart, to disassemble. And this is all done in a painless fashion. You don't have to take any type of medicine. And again, to underscore, when we work with people remotely. I have worked with people around the world, treated people around the world with scalar energy. I've never met them. I probably never will. They simply email us their photograph. Now, you have to consider everything in the universe is composed of energy. Everything has an energetic signature, including your photograph. So my instrument works like a satellite. Now, we have satellites in our low Earth orbiting orbit, and in so doing, we can receive signals. Our cell phone towers, GPS units, radio. We have satellite radio. We receive satellite signals for our TV, etc. So if we can do that with electricity, then we can certainly do that with scalar. So a scalar instrument works like a satellite, and in so doing that function, we can send a signal to anybody or any animal in the world. We also have great success taking photographs of pets and working with people and treating pets, cats and dogs, with scalar energy. So consider the vista that this opens. This is an entirely new horizon in which everybody in the world, animals included, can have a healing, and all they have to do is submit a photograph.
Yeah, that's so easy. I mean, I love that. And someone like me who's been diagnosed with an illness and with no treatment and no cure, something like Scalar is so welcome. I mean, that is something that I think everybody who has autoimmune should check out and see if it can make a positive difference, because it can be a very quick downward spiral for a lot of these so-called autoimmune diseases. I don't even believe they're autoimmune. There's something else going on. But again, what a wonderful way to treat this, other than driving to the doctor's office, sitting there and waiting, only to have him give you a steroid or an injection of some damn thing, who knows what. But this is easy. Now, you mentioned the chakra treatment. So tell everybody how you do that one. So you do the parasite cleanse and the microbe cleanse, but how does the chakra cleanse work, or the chakra alignment work?
When I'm working with these instruments, it's such a profound amount of energy, scalar energy. Anytime you get close to these instruments, you feel them. Now, you feel the energy. Now, if I were to take your photograph and place it in close vicinity to the instrument, then it's as if you were standing in my laboratory. Again, there's an energetic connection that I can make with a person by way of their photograph. So whether you're standing in my laboratory or I have your photograph, in lieu of your physical presence, I would have your photograph. And I would place your photograph directly inside the scalar energy instrument. And what would that do? You would be immersed in scalar energy. This satellite-like device would send you scalar energy, regardless of where you are in the world. And it's subtle, but it's profound. And you would see over the course of a few days that your thinking changes, that your sleep pattern probably will be a more meaningful, deeper sleep pattern. Some people have come to us with insomnia, and they said for the first time in years they could finally sleep. Why? Because scalar energy, radiant energy, has corrected their brain waves to the point that they can finally have a normal night of sleep without interruption. So it's simply by virtue of the fact that scalar energy is so strong, so powerful, and when I place your photographs in the direct vicinity of these instruments, you feel it, and you will feel a chakra bouncing. Whether you feel it immediately or within a day or two, you will sense that something is different, that your thinking changes, that many people say they have a state of euphoria, a state of happiness. They feel elated. Or some people simply say that they no longer have that fight or flight syndrome, that consideration on their mind, that they are much more confident. It's a confidence builder. They're no longer living in fear. That's what God wants. He doesn't want us living in fear.
That's right. I think you hit the nail on the head there. Absolutely true. I mean, the fear is what sends us into these adrenal storms and then drains us completely so that we cannot stay healthy. We spiral down from there. Now, let me ask you a question about water. How does scalar affect water?
Well, scalar is everywhere. It's sunlight, it's starlight. And I've observed that water has an affinity. Water is a great capacitor. It will store scalar energy. So consider when I'm performing a chakra balancing, I'm not only balancing your 7 chakras. If we consider that the human body is made of 70% is water, then we see how profound a scalar energy treatment is, because it will have a direct interface with our crystalline body, our water in our body. So if I may, I have always observed that water will hold scalar energy. Dr. Emoto, the great scientist, he was able to achieve that, how scalar energy, or what he was projecting, were thoughts, were words, were action. Scalar energy in the form of thoughts, words, action had a profound influence upon water droplets. Well, imagine if your body is composed of so much water, imagine what a scalar energy instrument does. It has a profound influence upon the water in your body, just as Dr. Emoto's experiments had a profound influence upon water drops.
So again, people could experience this even by drinking a glass of scalar treated water, right? If they were near you and you were treating the water, they could drink it. So so it affects everything: pets, animals, water. So it's the possibilities here truly are endless in what this can achieve.
Yes, it is. Exactly. Again, I know many people have come to us and they said, Tom, whatever you did last night, meaning the treatments, it had a profound influence upon them once they start the treatments. And again, it has a direct ability to balance our brain waves. As I mentioned, our body is 60, 65, 70% water. The chakra balancing has incredible influence upon our water crystalline composition. Many people have even said that their ability to recall, their memory has been enhanced by these sessions. Why? Because if we're really thinking according to that scalar paradigm, if human thought is a scalar function, then a chakra balancing should improve our human thinking, should improve our cognitive ability.
Yes, it should. Now, you also have an endocrine balance. Is that a new thing you started to offer?
Yes, it is. We're offering, and you could go to our website, we're offering 1 month of a free session of what we call endorphin and neurotransmitter therapy. So we're able with scalar energy to assemble endorphins inside the body. Now, what does that do? If you can create that molecular form of dopamine or serotonin, you're going to produce a state of happiness in people. And this is what we've seen with so many people. We're able to assemble various types of chemicals inside the body. Okay, all these chemicals are natural. And if you're assembling, say, dopamine inside the body, the end result is people are much happier. Alpha endorphins, beta endorphins, serotonin, norepinephrine. It is a consummate way of addressing our emotional state. If we can assemble endorphins and neurotransmitters inside the body, we see the upshot. The result is people are happier.
That's nice.
Well, I don't know anybody who doesn't want to feel happier. Go ahead, PK. Oh, I can't hear you. Are you there?
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay.
Are you?
What on tonight? Well, here, I think there's something in the air. I don't know what it is, but it's driving me crazy because it's screwing things up here.
Yeah, you dropped out for a minute.
Yeah.
Well, I think you need to sign up for a treatment. Right?
I agree. In fact, I tried to do that.
I think.
Even screwed that up. I couldn't get in because I did something wrong and it came back at me. So I thought, well, I'll just wait and try after the show and do it again.
Yeah, because I think you'll really benefit from all of this. Now, there's anti-aging capability, which I know is of great interest to PK and myself. Can you talk about that? I know it goes beyond balance. When things are in balance and you're on your way to healing, that age reversal situation can happen as well. Have you seen that?
Yes, I've seen that. Many people who've been with us for 2 or 3 years and they've been able to stay on the program continuously have told us in so many terms that they feel that their aging process has slowed down, some of them considerably. Actually, some people have said that the nutrients that we can assemble, we're able to assemble vitamins, amino acids inside the body, that the micronutrient program has served to give people a more youthful look. It's served to increase the mobility on many people. It's given them a clearer complexion. Their face is finally a clear complexion. Many people have also said that the nutrient program has served to enhance, again, their cognitive thinking. Now, why would I make these claims? Well, when you're able to create inside the body nutrients, and you're doing it by way of light, by way of energy, and you don't have to rely upon a drug, you don't have to rely upon something that has to be metabolized, food or a supplement. To the contrary, when you can deliver a vitamin inside the body by way of light energy, then you can assure yourself of a perfect delivery, of a safe, perfect delivery. And what Scalar does is it creates inside the body, inside each cell, the nutrients that we need. So we no longer have to worry about a metabolic process. We don't have to consider about how the bloodstream is going to deliver those nutrients. No, to the contrary, when you're working with energy light, you actually create a vitamin inside the body. So you don't have to worry about metabolism. So this is the perfect delivery system for nutrients. Now, the upshot of that is this, that many people feel younger, or they even look younger. And many people who are aging want to have that more youthful look. And if you stay on this program long enough, you will see that your aging has slowed down, and it has to. If you're receiving this excellent nutrition, by the way, we work with people 22 hours a day with this nutrient program. So for 22 hours a day, your body is under the influence of scalar energy, and we're creating micronutrients in your body. And in so doing, your body finally has the proper nutrients for cellular repair, for various functions, metabolic functions, for growth, etc. In so doing, you feel younger. You have a greater zest for life. We have to realize that our food supply is compromised. We have to realize that
yes, it is.
That we're not getting the nutrition. Food it should be medicine. Sadly, today, it's chemicalized. It's filled with man-made chemicals that prove to be deleterious to our health. So what I have tried to do, I've tried to find a fail-safe technique. This treatment modality will indeed deliver vitamins, minerals, amino acids inside the body. We don't have to worry about metabolism breaking down those micronutrients because we deliver it by light. And secondly, I'm a purist, and I promise I'll never assemble man-made chemicals in the body. So what I'm working with are the phytochemicals, the plant chemicals found in food. And that, as far as I'm concerned, is perfect nutrition. We're going back to nature. Okay, we're getting rid of the Rockefeller chemicals, and we're going back to nature. And we're incorporating in the body.
Oh, that's a good way
Thank
to
you.
put it.
Yeah, we're going back to nature.
Yeah. Well, that's really important, too, because I know Kay and I have talked about that food doesn't even taste the same. When we were kids growing up, food tasted so different. It was much richer. And the food today, even the stuff we like and that's good for us, it just doesn't have that same quality to it that it had so many years ago. So hearing that you can assimilate this through light is remarkable. And we're going to take a very short commercial break, everybody, and we'll come back and talk more with Tom Paladino about Scalar Light. Make sure you go to scalarlight.com and sign up for your free trials with Tom. You won't be sorry you did it because it is very, very intensely powerful. It's great. So stay tuned, everybody. You're listening to Supernatural Girls Radio, and we will be right back.
Pure essential oils, specialized minerals, and a revolutionary anti-aging technology. Astridian combines the best of all scientifically proven ingredients in easy-to-use creams, lotions, and concentrated serums. Astridian's advanced line of products take your skin to a new level of being healthy and beautiful. We offer a variety of collections that address all your skin concerns. The Essential Anti-Aging Series treats and moisturizes your skin for a long-lasting, younger look. The Multivitamin Series promotes healthy skin with high-quality vitamins and minerals. The Sports Series restores skin from cellular damage and stress. Astridian also offers a revitalizing solution for hair and a professional series for doctors and medical spas. Visit astridian.love today and begin your new journey to healthy, beautiful, youthful skin. Astridian, beyond your expectations.
Are you ready for a new experience of freedom and powerful connection? Would you like a positive, effortless change in your life? Then come to CosmicFusion.com, where we offer the most advanced energy clearing and expansion techniques in the world, with a quantum vortex energy to activate your divine blueprint and life's purpose. When your soul leads the way with cosmic fusion and quantum vortex energy, you can break clear of past difficulties and blocks with the power of the Source. With Cosmic Fusion, the Source energy does the work for you. It's easy and effortless. Listen to our free meditation right from our Cosmic Fusion website, the Cosmic Code Meditation. Sign up for one of our interactive webinars today. Come to Cosmic Fusion, www.KOSMICfusion.com, to experience an effortless awakening and transformation. Are you ready for an upgrade? Are you ready for a new experience of living in the fifth dimensional magic and powerful connection? Then visit CosmicFusion.com today. CosmicFusion.com.
Your property tax bill. Have you seen it lately? It's frightening. Your property taxes are going up while your home value is going down. It's time to fight back and win. For the real truth about the property tax system, get attorney Pat Quintilian's book, Are You Getting Screwed on Your Property Taxes? How to Find Out and How to Fix It. Attorney Quintilian answers all your questions and gives you the facts you need to fight a property tax bill that is spiraling out of control. You'll also read about what happens to property owners who don't check their property records, only to find out too late they're taxed on square footage, fixtures, and even buildings that they don't own. Is this happening to you? Learn your rights. Buy attorney Pat Quintilian's book today. Are You Getting Screwed on Your Property Taxes? How to Find Out and How to Fix It. Available on Amazon.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to Supernatural Girls Radio. I'm your host, Patricia Baker. I am here with my co-host, PK, and our great guest tonight, Tom Paladino. We're talking about scalar energy. But before we return to that conversation, I just wanted to announce to everyone that Astridian.love has a contest going on their Facebook page where you can win full sizes of their product, and their product is not inexpensive. So I suggest you go to their Facebook page and enter their contest. And if you would like to purchase their products, go to Astridian.love. They have a new CBD oil line and lotion line, and everything they have is natural with a very high mineral content. These are great products. And if you give them the code SUPERNATURAL, they will give you 10% off and also send you some free samples. So be sure to make a visit to Astridian.love. So, Tom, I got to return to the food issue because I had this thought while the commercials were playing. Lately, I just haven't felt like eating. And at first I thought there was something terribly wrong, because Now, I don't have a weight problem. I don't need to change my diet. I eat very healthy food, as healthy as I can. And so I'm thinking, why am I not hungry? But now you're giving me some insight about that.
Yeah.
So this could really also be very beneficial for people who tend to overeat, because the scalar treatment is making me feel like I don't even need food. I've got what I need.
Yes, and because you're in tune with your body. Now, many people have told us that. Many people have gone as far as to say, on account of the fact that they're being treated with this nutrition, these micronutrients throughout the day, that they can miss a meal and they're not hungry, or they can cut back significantly on their food intake. And we've heard that from people around the world. So there is merit to that. And your story resonates with that of so many people around the world, Patricia. And it's true. There is a set point in your body. There's a point where your body is satiated. You're no longer hungry. And many times people will say that when they're on this scalar session for a few weeks, they realize that their appetite is diminished because their body finally signals that it has received the proper nutrition. One of the reasons why we're so hungry is because we eat, but we don't get the proper nutrients. So the body is famished.
Yeah.
The body keeps saying, feed me more, because I'm eating junk food, and that junk food is devoid of minerals, is devoid of amino acids. But when we work with scalar, you're getting those minerals, the phytochemicals, the antioxidants that you need. And your body then will simply signal, we're not hungry anymore. Many of people that work with us tell us that they can miss a meal, drop to 2 meals a day, and they're not hungry.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, and for people that have been struggling with a weight problem, this again can be very helpful because it'll balance them out. I mean, it's also for chronically ill people. Digestion, assimilation are major issues. A lot of them have stopped taking pills and they've gone to liquid because they know they're just not able either to swallow it or they just don't absorb it. So again, this is where Scalar can step in and be very helpful and give them what they need without all of these other concerns. So it's just a great system that you've developed. It's really wonderful. Now, tell us about some of your other success stories, because I know people are in contact with you from all over the world all the time. So what are they telling you? What else?
Just last month, we've been working with a clinic in India. Last month, we received a number of test results from India. We're working with HIV/AIDS patients in India. And we have been working with them for the past 6 months or so, and many of these people now come back with test results, no viral load for HIV. And we have before and after test results from a clinic in Delhi, India, in which many people, frankly, are being cured of HIV. And we're going to make a documentary out of that, and hopefully we can release that documentary sometime in 2020. And that will be so telling. That is the test results that people want to see before and after. And frankly, it's under the control of one clinic per se in Delhi, India, but with many people, we have at least 50, 60 people who have signed up. Frankly, all of them are HIV negative now, and the attending physicians are astounded. They've never seen anything like this. So we're on our way, and if this is the first time you've heard it tonight, it won't be the last. We are on our way to ending that plague.
Oh, how wonderful.
We're not going to have to worry about HIV anymore. We have the answer for HIV. We are going to put an end to this vicious plague.
That would be fabulous.
Well, that's all good news. Yes, it's wonderful. And, as we've discussed, Lyme disease is another one where people struggle for the right treatment and end up taking multiple supplements and antibiotics and everything else, and it doesn't seem to touch it. So I think some of these bacterium and especially mycoplasma has been weaponized. So it doesn't seem to deter an effective treatment by Scalar. Scalar doesn't seem to care whether it's weaponized or not. It's still able to disassemble it, right?
Yes, that's correct. And why do we have this confidence? Because we're working with energy. Energy is fundamental. And energy can circumvent what I would say any germ, any pathogen. In so doing, we can depend upon Scalar to break down, to release the molecular bonds of any pathogen in the body, regardless of where that pathogen is hiding, whether it's wrapped in a biofilm, whether you've had it for a month or 10 years, it doesn't matter. Again, we have to consider what we're working with. We're working with a fundamental energy. And in so doing, with this energy, we can control the outcome. That's the key. Energy allows us to control matter. And with scalar energy, we can break down the molecular bonds of the Lyme spirochete. We can break down the co-infections of Lyme disease, Babesia, Ehrlichia, various types of protozoan, bacteria, viruses that are associated with the tick bite. And in so doing, presently, our ability is to disassemble, to eradicate over 400,000 species of germs. How can I make such a bold claim? Well, when I'm working with energy, it's rather straightforward. I have over 400,000 photographs of different types of bacteria, viruses, parasites, etc. And when I want to instruct this instrument, I simply place the photographs of the germs inside the instrument, and then the instrument will look for those germs in the body and destroy those germs, disassemble those germs inside the body. So it's a very straightforward approach. Again, I can control this instrument. I can control the outcome. It's a guaranteed outcome. It's more or less like driving your car. If you know how to drive a car, I can guarantee the outcome. You're going to be able to travel from point A to point B. Well, I have a scalar energy instrument that allows me to control the outcome. I can control the outcome. And that's the beauty of what we're doing. We can control molecular forms of germs. We can break down the molecular forms of a germ, and in so doing, the germ no longer exists. And that is the answer for pathogenic disease. We have it.
That's fantastic. It really is. Now, with other types of therapies, when people are detoxing, they're getting rid of pathogens, they're told to make sure they drink a lot of water, really flush the system out. Is that the same for this?
Not necessarily. Why? Because when you're working with chemicals, then many times you have drugs, chemicals, you have to flush out those chemicals out of your body. Well, keep in mind, we're not working with chemicals. We're working with light energy. And again, scalar is that perfect energy, that perfect source of light. And I'll also mention that when you do take a drug, and I'm not against all drugs, but we have to keep in mind a drug is a poison. And the reason why those drugs work is that they poison a microbe. They poison the viruses and bacteria in your body. Well, they also poison concomitantly your body. So we want to avoid that if we can. I'm not against all pharmaceutical products, but there's a trade-off, and the trade-off is it can impair your health. Well, again, to underscore, scalar energy, chi energy, is obviously non-physical. It's not a chemical. It's light. It's energy. So we don't have to worry about chemical residue. We don't have to worry about chemical die-off. We don't have to worry about chemical contamination. So there is no toxicity. Why? We're not using a toxic chemical.
Tom, what about today? We've got so many people that are dealing with opiates and such. Would this work for them? Would this help them detox and get back on their feet?
Many people, yes. I can't say 100%, but many people have come to us, and after a few months, we have realized that scalar has done something. That scalar has the ability to not only break down, let's say, an opiate inside their body. Let's say they're on OxyContin. Let's say that scalar has that ability to release the molecular bonds of an opioid, and in so doing, we can break down the physical presence, the energetic presence of a germ, and then, of a drug, and then secondly, Scalar also has the ability to efface, to correct that, I will call it an emotional intrigue, that hold, that energetic pattern body in the psychic field. So it's really a twofold event. Scalar can break down the molecular bonds of chemicals, man-made chemicals, drugs, pharmaceutical products, and then Scalar also has the ability to correct or reverse that energetic hold, that psychic hold that many people have from drugs. This is one of the key components in drug addiction. It has a psychic hold on people. It's a psychic addiction. And you have to be able to address not only the chemical bonds, the physical chemical bonds in the body, but also the psychic addiction that many of these drugs have.
It seems that this seems to be so much going on in the world today, and it's just so sad to see so many people losing their worlds and their families due to this.
Yes.
That's wonderful that they can work with it.
Yes. Yeah, that is terrific. Another addition to what can be treated with this. And now, what about some of the other diseases that are associated with aging, like Alzheimer's, dementia? Do you have any stories of success about that?
Yes, and it's really expedient that if you have Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's, that you start working with us quickly before there's the degradation in your brain, before there's irreversible brain damage. What do I mean by that? Well, it's now become quite evident that many people with Alzheimer's are suffering from an infection in their brain, either of herpes or the bacterium chlamydia. Why? Because when these microbes, these germs, pass the blood-brain barrier, they compromise our thinking. They go after the neurons, the nerve cells in our brain and our central nervous system. And we have seen this with so many people, and there have been results from clinics around the world that substantiate this claim. That is, many people who are suffering from these neurodegenerative diseases are really suffering from microbes in the brain. I've heard it said many times, if you are bitten by a tick in your 20s and 30s, and that Lyme disease has never been held in check, eventually those spirochetes, those viruses from the Lyme disease, will eventually migrate throughout your body and find their way to your brain. There was a brilliant physician, Alan MacDonald, and he made a career out of showing how Lyme disease, as it progresses throughout your life, eventually, in many cases, leads to multiple sclerosis, leads to Alzheimer's, leads to dementia. Because when left unchecked, and if these microbes will find their way past the blood-brain barrier, you're going to have neurological impairment. It's almost assured. So, again, a word to the wise, if you have Lyme disease, it would be prudent for you to try the Scalar Energy Pathogenic Cleanse. I don't care if you're 20 or 30 years old and you still feel healthy. If some of those germs are latent and they find their way to your brain, they could trigger the onset of Alzheimer's. I will say this, and I read a great study from Harvard a couple of years ago, that many people with Alzheimer's now are simply being shown to be infected with herpes 1 virus in the brain. Well, herpes 1 is a universal virus, so to speak. You can easily pass herpes virus by kissing somebody and sharing saliva from a kiss. So it's not difficult to pass the herpes 1 virus. It's oral herpes. And it's one of the leading pathogens now associated with Alzheimer's.
That is fascinating, Tom. Yeah, I didn't realize that they had identified it. That's really important information to have. Because I think also there's a lot of these diseases, even Parkinson's, they've been tied to certain viral components. And certainly MS has been researched, and they have found a huge correlation between MS and Epstein-Barr.
Yes, precisely. Why? Epstein-Barr, well, that's part of the herpes family. Epstein-Barr and the other herpes viruses, they are neurotropic. What do I mean? They go after our nerves, whether it's nerves in our brain or nerves throughout our bodies. And in so doing, we will suffer from the consequences, especially if we have the Epstein-Barr virus or the herpes virus attacking our system for decades.
Yes.
To me, thank you. To me, when I've read these reports and I saw the distinct correlation between microbial infection and many conditions such as Alzheimer's and dementia and Parkinson's and multiple sclerosis, I can't say that those neurological conditions are caused exclusively by microbes in the brain, but I certainly will say that there's strong evidence that they're either the direct cause in many cases or at least a significant contributing factor in the development of neurological impairment.
It makes sense. It really does. I mean, again, one of the things they've stopped teaching in medical school is all about these viruses and these infections. You know, they've gone more into teaching about surgeries and medications rather than these types of infections. And even with Parkinson's, I remember reading an article about Michael J. Fox, who everybody knows has had Parkinson's for a long time. And when they looked back at his history, they saw that there were 4 or 5 other people. There was a cluster of people around him who also had Parkinson's. So then they started to think about, is there a virus connected to this? And yes, I think there is. I think there is an infectious component to all of these chronic illnesses.
Yes, and I would concur. And it's been established, and you'll read this in most medical textbooks today. Consider that at least 20% of all human cancers are caused by viruses alone. By viruses, and I think that's an understatement. I think once we really understand how widespread viruses are, that you will see that figure escalate. I'm going to go out on a limb and say at least 35 to 40% of all viruses are causing cancer. That is, human cancer can be attributed to various viruses. You take the Epstein-Barr virus, which is universal. It causes lymphoma. Many times people have said that that if they get the Epstein-Barr virus as a youngster, that they're at risk now for nasopharyngeal cancer because it has an affinity for our thyroid gland, for our throat, so to speak. So there's a definite cause and effect here. I can promise you that Scalar will eradicate the Epstein-Barr virus from the human body. What does that mean? I'm sure we're preventing some people from developing Burkitt's lymphoma.
Absolutely. I mean, there's no reason why this technology wouldn't be helpful with that. It's very helpful. Now, here's another issue, and I know vaccines are very controversial today. And we actually had the producer of Vaxxed on our show and interviewed him about a couple of years ago. And so we also had Dr. Garth Nicholson on, who talked about testing the vaccines, and he's not anti-vaccine at all, but he did say, look, we found mycoplasma contamination in all the vaccines that we tested. So how about, can Scalar affect that? Can Scalar break down those types of things that people have been vaccinated with? Yes. Okay, that's good news.
I'm asked that. Thank you. That's a great question. I'm asked that question frequently because many parents are concerned about their children. Yes, to answer your question, whether it's mycoplasma found in a vaccine or a mycoplasma that you would find in a subway system or in a crowded school, yes. Scalar Energy, working at that fundamental level, Scalar Energy will break down mycoplasm inside the human body. I've had many people who've come to me, and they said that they were at a loss because the drugs that they were taking were not effective. It's many times these drugs are not effective to eradicate mycoplasm from the body. I can promise you, on account of the fact that we're working at the energetic level, we don't have anything that will stop scalar energy. What do I mean by that? When you're working with energy, it's fundamental. Okay, nothing can impede this energy. And secondly, it is scalar energy that gives the geometry to microbes. In other words, scalar energy is responsible for the chemical bonds that hold together a germ, a microbe. And if you can negate those molecular bonds, what happens? A microbe falls apart. So regardless of where a germ is hiding, whether it's in a biofilm or whether it's in some anatomical space in the body, whether it's in your brain or in soft tissue, it doesn't matter. Scalar energy will send the intelligence into your body, will instruct the mycoplasm to break apart, and in so doing, you will no longer be infected.
That's amazing. Now,
that's right.
Dr. Jerry Tunein is a brilliant eye surgeon. I'm not sure if you're familiar with his work and with electricity in the human body, but he became quite ill when he was performing a laser surgery on somebody's eyes, and at that point they did not realize that the eye can hold viruses. And he, during surgery, ended up exposing himself to these viruses that went right to his brain. So he was quite ill for a number of months, and that led him to find something that was going to work. And he uses electricity, and he's found a way to deliver these millivolts with some of his mechanical objects here. They're quite. He's got quite a list of what's available, but he also believes strongly in scalar, and he sells a device that will deliver some scalar energy. I'm sure not to the. I know it's not to the power of what you do, and that's another way to go. But I have to say, this is the ease of use with what you're doing cannot be beat. I mean, basically, one of your clients, they don't have to do a thing. This is an ongoing treatment. They don't have to do anything.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And this is what people like. They simply send in a photograph. I realize some people are busy. We have busy lives. Some people have careers, busy family lives, busy social life. And a lot of people, let's face it, they have an aversion to a dentist or a physician. And it's a shame because there's many great dentists and physicians. A lot of people simply do not want to go to a hospital or to a clinic. So much to their benefit, they would much rather send in a photograph and be treated with scalar than visit a clinic.
Yes, I'll raise my hand to that.
With the return, as they're saying, of some of the old diseases that we've had years ago that we thought were eradicated that are now starting to pop up in bits and pieces, will this help neutralize some of that?
Yes, it will. Yes, it will. What I envision is this, PK. I want the world to get involved. I'm trying to make this as simple as possible. This is why our website has free sessions, free treatments. I want to introduce this to a great number of people. And once we have that support, once people have crystallized the notion that this works, then we can get on to, frankly, healing the planet. If you can consider, my instrument can easily assume 5 million photographs of people a day. So what does that mean? We could treat 5 million people a day, and we could end these plagues. Okay? I realize there's a measles outbreak occasionally. I realize that there's still Ebola outbreaks in Africa. If we would have people send in photographs of entire villages, we would not have these problems.
They're talking about also the return of typhus right now in New York and whatever. And people that are involved don't seem to be paying attention. It's kind of like it's a given. It's there, so they're not doing anything.
And again, we'll look at why. I mean, these diseases are coming in with a lot of illegals, basically, and that's getting the support, unfortunately, of a certain political party because they want voters and they don't care if they bring people in that have these diseases that we wiped out here in the United States. They're saying measles outbreak. We had it under control and completely gone, and now because of the people that have been sneaking into the country infected. It's it takes on this whole terrible political angle that's unfortunate, and doesn't think of the people that are here and our safety. So again, having these scalar treatments is a really helpful thing.
Because like a woman across the border, 2 hours later she's dead. Gee, but they're blaming it on our way of handling things. Excuse me, we didn't carry her up the road. They did this on their own. Now we have got to figure out a way of saving the people that are here to have a better opportunity to grow. And the scalar seems to be a marvelous way of handling this.
It is. It is. And because let's face it, there's geopolitical considerations here. There's a lot of politics in medicine today. And I want to offer this to the world, and I want the world to get behind us. Nothing can stop a photograph. No government, no army, no edict, no mandate can stop a photograph. In other words, I can access a person by way of their photograph anywhere in the world. And with that said, we can provide healing to anybody in the world. And I don't have to jump through hoops, so to speak, and worry about regulatory constraints, because it's safe and it's effective. So there's no reason why this should not become a worldwide healing ministry. Right. That's what I'm trying to galvanize the people around, that notion. We finally have an answer. Cannot be any simpler. It's a photograph. We can deliver healing by way of a photograph.
Incredible.
Why not?
That's the scary part, because they don't understand. It's almost as if it's too easy for them to deal with.
Yes. Yeah, I've heard that so many times.
Well,
it's just too easy.
Again, people need to also get behind easy, but you and I well know that the pharmaceutical companies don't want to lose their profit margin.
Oh, I mean, look at the money they make. My God, on everybody else's body, right?
Yeah, it's incredible. So, that's the other thing, is that people have been brainwashed that they need a pill to go to sleep. They need a pill to wake up, that they need a pill for everything. So it's a brainwashing that's taken place over a number of years. I mean, how many years ago was it that pharmaceutical companies were not allowed to advertise on television? Now you see it all the time. And I'll tell you.
God.
Yeah, I mean, that's right. Everybody can. But the issue is that nobody in the media wants to see that cash cow go away. That is what has been paying them. So they're going to sit there and support all the pharmaceuticals in the world because it pays their bills. That's really not the way to look at healthcare. Yet that is what has happened. And I can tell you firsthand, I used to work for a company called Celsian years ago. It was a corporation out of Maryland. And they had discovered that cancer dies at 106 degrees. And they did get an MIT scientist to work with them on a phased array system to treat cancer. And they found when they used this phased array system, a microwave system, they could target the tumor. And because tumors have more water content, they could make that tumor shrink and die. Now, that technology has been around for a long time, over 20 years, maybe 30. Have you heard of it? No.
Absolutely not.
That's right. So again, this is one of the things that people have to get out of that system and start thinking along the lines of Bruce Lipton and start thinking along the lines of Tom Paladino about how to maintain their health. Otherwise, it's not a good outcome.
No, it certainly isn't.
Yeah, and I have faced that backlash. Sometimes I've faced that suppression. Although I'm trying to help people, frankly, I'm manned and I'm outspent. I just don't have the financing to take on these monolithic corporations. So I appreciate PK and Patricia what you're doing. You're helping us get the word out. We certainly don't have the advertising budget of some of these pharmaceutical companies, but what we have are results. And our results stand for themselves. And eventually people will see that this is safe and effective medicine. And I thank you both for being the champion of truth tonight.
Oh,
it's our pleasure, really.
We're saving ourselves. That's really what it's all about.
Yeah, I mean, we've known you for a long time, Tom, and we've seen the power of your work. I've talked to many of your clients personally, and they've all been very supportive and have said how the results they've received are quite astounding. And I got to tell you another compliment that you received from Carrie Cannon. She said, Tom has that scalar skin. He just looks 20 years younger than he really is. So there are true anti-aging benefits, and your being around that scalar energy apparently makes you look quite young.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
If someone were to say, just for rejuvenation purposes, to feel younger or more in tune with what's going on, what would you say would be a time frame that they would use? Is something they would do for the rest of their lives, or something they would do for a number of weeks or months?
I would say this: within 2 to 3 months, people see a significant change. Change doesn't happen in a day or a week, but after 2 to 3 months, people see a significant change. Now, what we've tried to do, we have group therapies, and people can sign up as 2, 3, 4 people to a group. Let's say if you sign up as 3 people to a group, our sessions are relatively inexpensive. They're about $80 a month per person. Now, what does that mean? Well,
dinner out.
That's less. Yeah, that's pretty cheap. That's $2 a day. So most people spend more money at Starbucks than they would if they were to sign up for Scalar, which is $80-$90 a month. We have affordable programs. The bottom line is, are you willing to make that commitment? The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Are you willing to make that commitment to health? One of the things that I always admonish people: do yourself a favor, eat nutritious food, wholesome food, natural food. Okay, please do not eat junk food. That's an easy way to correct your health. How many people will really want to inculcate that and abstain from processed food, abstain from what I call junk food, fake food?
Not very many. If you look around, you don't see a lot of people that are willing to give up that type of fast food death spiral. They're addicted to the food. They're addicted to a bad lifestyle. And they don't see the value in giving that up. Look at the obesity problem we have in this country.
Oh, dear Lord, yes.
I mean, I have never seen so many fat children in my life as I have seen lately. There's just this rampant obesity in these kids, and it's accepted. It's accepted.
But the kids aren't happy because they know they're not the norm. They're the exception. And they're made fun of, and they're given a hard time. And then we have another issue because it becomes an emotional issue besides the weight.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And it's an ever cascading series of problems then. Mm-hmm. If you're overweight, then obviously there's health complications, but it also seems to ostracize many people. And many people will develop a complex about being overweight. And it's a shame. Society should not shame people for being overweight, but nonetheless,
absolutely,
there's a much easier way. Go the natural way. I took my wife out to dinner last night, and we had a wonderful meal at an Asian restaurant, and it was organic. And when you taste food like that, it's so rich. You can just taste the phytochemicals and the antioxidants. There's no preservatives. There's no colorings added. If people knew what they were missing, then they would go back to nature. They would eat organic.
It's been so long since they've tasted anything that's really, truly rich and available that we've all been marched down that path to this camouflage food.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's changing though, PK. You see that. It's changing for the better. Yeah. It's changing.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are now demanding it. They're saying we want organic things at the grocery stores, where the grocery stores never used to have organic food,
right.
organic vegetables, and now they do. So that, yes, you're right. The consciousness is moving in the right direction towards some of this. But I still have to say that there are a lot of fat kids. And again, not to shame anybody, but when I was growing up, there was one fat kid, and I understand the emotional component of all of that and how devastating it was. But now there's many more than one fat kid. So it's again the convenience of grabbing something at McDonald's or wherever, and it's just too easy. So that people don't want to take the time to make this food like you ate at the Asian restaurant, that obviously took time, took care, was made with love,
right.
and you could taste it. It was so
You're
different.
Right. You're right, and it does take time, and you do have to make that commitment. And I realize people are on the go, but you have to change your lifestyle. Again, if you're addicted to fast food or junk food, you're taking years off your life. And you're going to imperil your health. Sooner or later, you're going to see how your body has need for those vitamins, those minerals, those antioxidants. And if you don't have that, you're going to be a candidate for disease.
Definitely. And that's no fun. So, and so it is a very important mindset to change and to get back to a more organic way of eating and living. And again, here you are offering something that fits in with this so perfectly. It's so easy to do. Everybody, you should just sign up, give it a try. ScalarLight.com. We highly recommend it. It's easy. It's free. It's another gift that we are giving tonight, our Supernatural Girls audience, courtesy of Tom Paladino, who is so generous to offer this to everybody that's listening. And also, feel free to share this information with your friends. Send them the link. Let them take a look, and maybe they would like to try this out as well.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Yes, yeah.
Well, I was in the grocery store just last week, and I see this more and more. I see on various types of vegetables now, and produce, and even canned vegetables, non-GMO. Now there seems to be a big push. I live in Florida, so I don't know if you see that in New England or whatnot.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
But 10 years ago you would not see that. Now people demand it, and you're seeing non-GMO. So there is a backlash, as you well realize. In Europe, there are some European countries that will forbid the importation of GMO food into Europe. Yeah, and all power to them for doing that.
Oh, yes.
Part of the that.
Yeah, that stuff's poison. And it's good that there were enough people to bring that to our attention and to say this type of food will not be good for you. Let's put it that way. It will not help you. It will. I mean, there's so many things they found wrong with it. So it's good that that's out in the open. And you bring up a valid point about the non-GMO label that now people look for. So that's all terrific. So again, I want to urge everybody to go to scalarlight.com, and it's spelled SCALAR, light.com. And there you can sign up for these free treatments and make note of how you feel. Really tune in with yourself so that you can also report back to Tom and let him know what kind of effect it had on you. Because I know, Tom, you're looking for that. You really want to know, and you want to hear from people. So this is a wonderful opportunity to try something that's far beyond the leading edge in medicine today and treatment. So, Tom, I want to thank you again for joining us tonight. This has been a wonderful discussion, and I know you enlightened a lot of people tonight.
It was my pleasure, ladies. PK, likewise, thank you. Patricia, thank you. We shed the light and we spread the truth, and it resonates with people, and then it grows. I love discussions like this because people listen and they see the sincerity. They understand that we're trying to help them, and we change the world, maybe one person at a time, maybe a handful of people at a time, but this works. So all of you in the listening audience, be happy. take stock of your lives and change what you can change. And we love you. God bless you. We want you to live a vibrant, healthy lifestyle.
That's right. We all support that. Well, Tom, thank you so much. I know we're going to want to have you come back again and remind everybody about what you're doing, and you're always refining the technology, so we'll have you back. Next week, everybody, we'll be back with another show. We have Amy Major joining us again. Until then, we'll see you on the Blue Highway. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Thanks for listening. Tune in next week for another radio adventure with Supernatural Girls.